Sometimes you'll want to be spawning in actors in a circular pattern, just like we saw there, and the code for it is actually not that difficult to set up. So let's go take a look at it. So now that we're here in a empty new project, let's get started right away. The finished version of the project, as always, down below in the description for YouTube members and Patreons to check out. We're going to go into Blueprint and make a Blueprint macro library. The type of which we're going to make an actor. The reason that we're doing actor, by the way, and not something like a super generic object is because most of the time it's going to be actors spawning in other actors anyway. And the fact that we're going to be only using this on actors means that we have easy instant access to the spawn actor node, where if you just do this on a basic object, that becomes a bit more annoying to deal with. So we're just going to do a normal actor macro library, and we'll call that something like BPM for BPE macros, spawn actor utils, or something along those lines. We open that up, and we get our first macro in this library. This is going to be something like spawn actors in circle, because we're going to be wanting to spawn actors, surprise, surprise, in a circle. We need to give that inputs and outputs manually, so let's start by the input for our input execution pin, because clearly we're going to be needing those. And then we're going to need a handful of other inputs. Number one is an owner for the actors that we're going to be spawning. This mostly is relevant for level streaming purposes. That needs to be an actor object reference, by the way. Because when you spawn in an actor, you need to give it in an owner so that it properly spawns within the same streaming level as that owner exists in. Otherwise, it's always going to be spawning into the persistent level. Then when you unload that streaming level, the spawned in actors won't unload because they're not inside of the streaming level. If you're not using level streaming, it's not that important, but it's still good to give this stuff in. Then we need to know how many we're going to be spawning, so amount to spawn, which of course is going to be an integer. We need to know the radius of the circle that we want to be spawning them in, which we're going to be making a float. We need to know the origin point of that circle. For the most part, this is probably just going to be the location of the actor that's spawning them, but it's nice to just be able to give in any arbitrary origin point. And then we want to know which class to spawn. For this one, we're going to once again make this an actor reference. In this case, we're going to make class reference though. And I like to make this an array so that you can give in an array of options of things to spawn, and then you can either go through them sequentially or pick them at random on every spawn. We're going to be doing it at random. Those are the inputs. The outputs we'll care about in a moment. For the inputs, we're going to hook that up to a for loop, a normal for loop, not a for each loop. And there's going to be a looping over 0 to the amount of spawns minus 1. You can also do first index 1 and loop to just the amount to spawn. This looks a little bit neater. The main difference being is if we have a circle, if we start at index 0, it's going to be spawning in our first spawn over here. If we start at index number 1, it's going to start the first spawn already a ways around the circle, which offsets everything else a little bit. In practice, that probably doesn't actually matter, but if you care about it being either one thing or the other, do know that index 1 means that it's not going to start at the top of the circle, but index 0 will have it start at the top of the circle. I personally like the first spawn being at the top. Just makes it a little bit easier visually as well if you're like trying to troubleshoot or solve any problems or whatever. And then in the loop body for that for each loop, we can just spawn actor from class. The class that will spawn will be from our input array, and we're just going to take a random item from that array. Now, every time this runs, it's going to take a new random entry from that array. So if we put in 10 different things, it's going to spawn every one of these about 1 in 10 times. You'll end up with different actors within the same circle of spawning. Now, this is part of the reason that I like this being a macro, by the way, because what we can do now is we can give this an output of on actor spawn. This output, on the note that this is going to eventually be, will run every time we spawn a single actor. And we can give that an output value of a reference to the actor that's being spawned in. So that way, whatever actor is doing this spawning can easily get and keep track of everything that it has spawned. And then while we're at it, for the outputs, when the for loop is completed, we'll also have completed spawning everything, so we can just kind of drag in completed to our outputs. Just makes a completed pin for us. as easily as that. Now, this is the execution flow, but now the thing that actually matters is figuring out the spawn transform for every single actor. So let's split the structure pin. And we're really only going to be focusing at the moment on the location. The rotation you can also set to always be facing the center or always just be 0, 0, 0. We're just going to keep it at 0, 0, 0, at least for the time being. But how do we get this location? That's the big question of this video, isn't it? Well, before we do that, I just said that having this owner is quite important. So we do need to hook that up into the actual owner inputs of our spawn actor. But then, this thing. First and foremost, we're going to be adding a vector together because we need to start at our origin point and then add an offset from that origin point in a circular manner. So we'll take our origin point plus a vector that we're going to be making here. And the only things that we're going to be inputting into this make vector are going to be the X and Y components. It's always just going to be spawning in a flat circle at the same Z value as our origin point. You can add a whole bunch of extra math to make it be able to take in like a rotation for tilting and whatever. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to keep this relatively simple. We take in a get pi node and we're going to be multiplying pi by 2. And as you might remember from like high school math, 2 times pi times the radius of our circle will give us the circumference of the circle. And that's what we're going to need. We need to know how big the circumference of our circle is. Then we divide that up into the amount of sections that we need. And then we need to figure out, okay, so X units around a circumference of Y size would be this amount of offset in the X and the Y to get there. 2 times pi divided by the amount of spawns that we need to do is going to be effectively our normalized size for each one of those circumference sections. Then we multiply that by the index of our loop so that we're getting the first section and then the second section and then the third and then the fourth and then whatever. From that, we get both the cosine in radians and the sine in radians. And these are going to be the things that we then actually multiply with our radius. So cosine multiplied by radius goes into the X value of the vector that we're trying to be making here. Let's actually move all of this down here as well. And then our input here through the sine node multiplied by our radius is going to go into the Y. And that's everything there is to the math to do with this. Relatively straightforward, really. So let's put that to the test. Let's make a quick blueprint actor here. We'll call that BP spawner. And in that, I'm only going to really be adding in a box collision. I want that to be not hidden in game because we're going to want to see where it is. And then in the event graph, we just check, hey, if we're overlapping with an actor, is that actor the same as getting our player character? Because we only want to spawn things when our player character overlaps with this. And then we can just use that macro we just made. So spawn actors in circle. That'll get us the macro. We can give in the owner as a reference to self. The amount of spawn, let's say that's 5. Radius, let's call that 250. Of course, you could make any of these exposed variables as well so that you can change them on a per instance basis. The origin will be get actor location, which is going to be spawning in around itself. And then the classes to spawn, just going to make an array here and super quickly make another actor for test spawn. Let's actually call it test spawning. And this is just going to contain a cube. We just need something visual to show, hey, things are actually spawning. So that's going to be everything there is in this array. Again, if you put multiple things into this array, it's going to, every time it spawns in anything, just pick any random thing out of the array that you put in. Now here we have the on actor spawn. So we can just like do a print string real quick and I'll print a display name of that thing. Ideally, in a real world scenario, you would have an array probably and just add every single one of these to an array as you spawn them in. And then on completed, you can do whatever you want, like start a timer to delete them again, whatever. So that's a super quick setup to just test and show you that this works. So BP spawner, just put that in anywhere in the world, really. And where did I put it? It's right over there. And if we overlap with it, you can see it spawned in these in a circle just as easily as that. Now they all do get spawned in with a rotation of 0. We can go back in here and real quick like make a rotator where we just influence the Z rotation. Because our Z rotation really is just 360 divided by the amount to spawn multiplied by our index. We just add in a make literal float, will be 360 divide by the amount to spawn. So this gives us the degrees offset for every single spawn. And then we just need to figure out, okay, which spawn is this? Which will be our index, and that goes into the Z for the yaw. And with that minor little change, I again kind of lost track of where the thing is. They'll now all spawn facing the center. That's potentially something that you can add in a bool for or whatever. So that's a basic implementation of how to set up something that spawns in other actors around a point. Now again, there is definitely more built out and more complex ways to do this that also take in like rotational transform and that kind of stuff that makes you able to like spawn things in on a diagonal tilted circle. Might make a follow-up video about that in the future, but for now, this is the basic way you can get around to doing this. And if you want to learn more about how to also set this up in C++, making a function node for this that works a little differently, but also effectively runs the same code, just in C++ with a couple of little upsides. There's a link to a video for YouTube members and patrons that translates all of this blueprint code into C++ code, with the added benefit of it not being a macro anymore. So it's not going to be tied to running on an actor. So this C++ variant can actually run on things like data assets and gameplay abilities and that type of stuff, because it can take in an external actor as its world reference instead of relying on needing to explicitly be called inside of an actor like this macro. And a very big thank you to all my Patreons. You can see them on screen right now. If you want to help support the channel or get any of the project files in any of my tutorials, there's a link down below to the Patreon page to support me, or alternatively as a YouTube member. My Cave Student tier supporters, Oiku, Earl, Monseville Erno, and my Cave Digger tier supporters, Mauricio Farias.